Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to tune into the North American recap, and I'll see you next weekend to find out who will make it to the World Championships. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Evil 8. This is our third and final week of the second split of autumn, and we're going to find out today who goes to the World Championships. I already know a couple of gentlemen who are going along with me. We got Fuji and Humanist.
Woo! Last king to get in, huh? Just kidding.
All right, so we got to talk about Worlds because it is so close now, guys. We are nearly there. We nearly know who our final two teams are, and after this weekend, we will know who our final two teams are. It's very exciting. We've got some great talent attending the event already.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean things won't be a fierce battle right now for these last two spots. Worlds is happening between the 2nd and the 4th of December at the TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood, California. It's going to be an amazing event and an amazing venue. If you haven't got tickets yet and you want to, head on over to vainglory.esports.com. There are still some available. So, in addition to that, tomorrow, we're actually going to be doing the group reveal. We're going to be revealing which groups have which teams in them.
It's too much excitement here. I don't know if my heart can take this right now.
Ooh, special guest Playoff Beard is also going to be here tomorrow, revealing the groups with us. We'll talk a little bit about the teams once we draw them out in each group. We'll do it one at a time. There'll be a lot of suspense, but you'll know exactly what to look forward to if you're a viewer, and the teams will know for the first time who they'll be playing against when we get to Worlds later in December.
And absolutely, that's going to be very important because of the preparation aspect of things. I'm sure a lot of the teams around the world who are attending Worlds are looking very closely what's happening here in the Evil 8 to work out who they might be facing up against from the remaining teams competing in Europe. So we've got Mousesports and Gangstars who can still make it.
Yep.
For North America, we actually have several teams who can make it. Kinetic, Cloud9, and Gangstar Sirius, I believe, can all make it, depending on how things go today and tomorrow. So let's have a look at the point scoreboard now so we can talk about how the teams are doing. You can see Gangstar Cerberus up there at 16, Mouse at 10. If Gangstars lose their first series today and Mousesports win the entire weekend, that is the only scenario for Europe where Gangstars do not go to Worlds.
I mean, pretty unlikely. Gangstars has to lose, I believe, with 0-2 as well. Is that correct?
I think they can get one
They can
win.
get 1 point,
yeah.
It looks like.
1 point.
I'm telling you, I can't take this. This is
A
it's too much
fine
stress.
tooth comb.
It's going to be interesting for sure.
We got. I mean, Iraqi is like playing a little bit better ping, you would imagine, this weekend as well. Like the most important weekend, they got him over there. This guy's going to be playing with his team in sync. You have to imagine this would be like his best level of play yet.
Yeah, I mean, Gangstars actually sent Raki to Germany to play closely with his team, hoping this will help push them to that world spot. But
Not
then at
Moscow?
the same time, not Moscow. I don't think it's Moscow or Siberia, the true training ground. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see the dynamic change there if they're just that much stronger.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see.
I'd like to see it get turned up a little bit. I mean, obviously, this is one of the best teams in the world. Whether they make it to Worlds or not, I think they're one of the best teams in the world. And if they could play better than they have been, it would be a great treat for everyone, I think.
Absolutely. So let's now have a look at the brackets so we can talk about which matches are coming up today for Europe. We've got 4 great ones. Snow Tsunami up against Team Secret, G2 Esports against Rising Lotus, Snow Avalanche against Gangstar Cerberus, and SK Gaming up against Mousesports. Now, obviously, the fact that both the teams still in contention are in Group B this week is pretty crazy because they are fighting in the same group to actually make it forwards. And if a team beats Cerberus, so if Avalanche beats Cerberus and Mousesports make it forward, they still need to win the entire week, and they have to go up against the team that actually beat the team who was in the first place position coming into week 3. So it's going to be hard for these teams to manage to make this work.
I mean, your game plan coming into today should just be to win, like, every game.
Just destroy everything.
I mean, how hard could it be? I mean, well, you just have to win.
Yeah. I mean, don't really think about anything else, right, Fuji?
Yeah.
You get in there.
You just get in there and you win.
One series at a time, one game at a time. Yeah. You know what? Because we were just like talking, you mentioned VaingloryEsports.com. I wanted to say there's a match ticker in here now too. It's like it's pretty convenient, and it's one thing that like I personally was looking for in a couple different places. Really easy if you check. It's like right there when you log in. You can see the pass, and it's got a little spoiler button too, so you can toggle that on and off. And yeah, it's cool stuff.
No, I'm glad you brought that up. I'd forgotten to do it. Let's have a look now at the matchup we've got coming up first. It's going to be Tsunami and Secret, and if you guys want to vote for who you think can make this one happen, type in !vote followed by either Tsunami or Secret. Let's have a look at the rosters real quick, too. First up on your screens, we've got Snow Tsunami. This is a roster that has historically been very strong, but recently has not been performing. They aren't in contention for Worlds, but you have to remember, guys, there are other reasons why you need to be performing this week, because you still want to avoid bottom 3, because this is still a regular season of Evil 8. You will have to fight in the challenge battles before next season if you don't actually escape that bottom 3. We've got PT Lamb, Bong Mabu, Sasiska, Alex Magic, Araxi, and Look at Me. They're up against Team Secret. Now, Team Secret is second in the tables. They had already qualified for Worlds, so they're not denying a spot from either Stars or Mouse Sports. They're very safe from the challenge battles right now. What they're mostly playing for is practice going to Worlds, prize pool for the split of the Evil 8, and of course Pride. We've got Kavalifar, Mowgli, Palmator, the Joker 94, and Cuckoo.
Yeah, studs right there. I mean, this is the lineup that just hasn't disbanded. They've brought some people in, some people have left, but that core trio has just stayed together for almost an entire year now, just knocking people off their pedestals.
Yeah, they've been doing a really good job. I mean, I would have to say that, like, while we did see them kind of slip a little bit, they seem to have kind of found a little more of their groove back in this split, looking a lot stronger as we head here into the final week. But we'll have to see just how much they put on the table. I mean, this is the last week to practice in a tournament setting for a lot of these teams before you go to Worlds, so you might as well leave a lot of it out here so you can kind of get like a litmus test for where you're at.
Yeah, and as far as I could be mistaken, but at least 2 of them are in a house together right now.
Yeah, they're in a gaming house, I believe, in France. I'm pretty sure Kavalifar is there and Mowgli at the very least. I think Palmatora probably not.
Yeah, he might be maybe coming in at a later time or something.
Yeah, he's in Scotland. I know he's in Scotland. Probably has school right now.
Right.
If I had to guess, but I'm not 100%.
But it's nice to see some of these teams, you know, like getting together and these top teams around. I mean, TSM's doing it. Of course, Gangstar's putting an effort to get Iraqi over to practice on a better ping with his team, everything like that. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. We'll be ready for the draft shortly, ladies and gentlemen. But guys, I want to talk to you about this first matchup. This is actually a very storied matchup. We used to see this all the time in championship finals in Europe, but Snow Tsunami has been struggling especially hard recently. Do you think they have a chance against Secret in their current form?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they have a chance.
Everybody has a chance.
That's what we say every time before we go into battle.
Everyone has a chance. I mean, it's not even just Tsunami. Like, the Snow organization as a whole has been not performing to what most would say is the standard, at least of what we've seen in the past. So you have to think a lot of the player shifts, the managerial shifts, them just trying to find their groove going forward. And, Tsunami not actually going to Worlds anymore has a lot to think about for next split. I mean, you talked about it. The challenge teams that are coming up get better and better every single season. So if you do slip to the bottom, you have to be very careful about getting knocked out altogether. So they really need to try hard to get the practice in.
If any organization has to respect challenger teams, it's Snow, because Avalanche last season came all the way from challengers, came into split 2, and then rose up to the top in the championship. So they know how risky it can be fighting in those challenge battles. I believe we're ready for the draft. So, what heroes are we expecting to see from these two teams?
I mean, if the trend continues for Kavalifar, we might be seeing some Vox. I noticed that we don't have Palmatoro. It's actually Joker in the lobby right now, so maybe we see a little bit of different flavor out of Secret in that regard. But across the board, Snow, they've been, with Bong Mabu, they've been running a lot of Sky, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Sky in this game from them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Secret has also been prioritizing, Lance pretty often whenever it's open. Most teams, I guess, kind of do that. No difference there. But, we see the lane Arden come through. We see some kind of unique picks. This is a time where Team Secret could easily do that. And Tsunami obviously known for some of their crazy mix-ups, their mixtapes of hero in the past.
Eric.
But we do see Adagio getting banned for Tsunami, and then, of course, Team Secret says no Kestrel on the map today, so we'll see what Europe starts today off with as their priority pick, and that is going to be the Lyra going over to Tsunami.
Yeah, pretty classic Lyra pickup right off the bat here, but it leaves that Lance open. I mean, we've been talking about having that, like, the inner debate between the Lance, the Kestrel, the Celeste. Like, what actually feels like the strongest pick overall? You put a lot of emphasis on the Lance.
Yeah, I do think Lance and Celeste are actually the most priority picks. It's specifically in North America. Europe has been a little bit laid back on the Celeste pick. They still love Lance. We still see Lance come through quite often. But Celeste, unless it's Gangstar Cerberus, has not made as many appearances as one might imagine. Secret does pick the Samuel.
Considering how good Gangstar Cerberus are doing, you gotta wonder if maybe there's a bit of a correlation there, especially with how strong it's been in North America too. I do think more teams should be picking up Celeste right now.
Yeah, she's.
I mean, we
strong.
not only have we seen Celeste being picked up more, but we've seen her transition for a few teams into the jungle. And it's not something that's all that uncommon anymore.
Yeah, this is very true. So Sky comes in on Tsunami. So there's your Sky.
Hi, Sky.
Nice analyst work, Humanist. Nice guess work.
This is just Bong Mabu playing Killer Sky.
Bong Mabu on the Sky, the favored pick. And then Vox to round it out. So the Vox does get taken away from Team Secret. We don't quite know where the Samuel would have ended up, but no Vox for them. I'm assuming if the Taka does come through, that'll be a lane Samuel and then a roam Lance. But you never know with Team Secret. They could throw Lance in the lane and roam the Taka, jungle the Samuel.
Exactly where I would have gone with it.
Yeah, that's the most logical direction to go.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, let's look at this though. Does Vox? You imagine he wanted to go weapon, but then this kind of forces Sky into a more weapon role. How do you feel about that? I
don't think double weapon with Sky Vox is very optimal, especially for Sky, because she really wants there to be the least amount of armor possible. Yeah. So you're going to have to mix it up. CP Sky, even though there's a Taka on the other team, will probably have a better time late game. Yeah. But it just depends on how well they think they can make CP Vox work. Not really a meta pick right now.
And also, when you've got a Taka diving on your backline, you kind of want to be a weapon Vox anyway, just to deal with that 1-versus-1 potentially, right? Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. We're on to the fold, though, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Snow Tsunami up against Team Secret in our first matchup of the day for Europe. Let's hand it on over to our shoutcasters, Sona and Bacon.
Thank you very much, you delicious marsupials on the analyst desk. I'm Sona, I'm joined by Tasty Bacon, and today is a very influential day in the history of European Vainglory action.
Yeah, and as has become customary, I do have to correct AJ's information that he gave out, as Gangstars can still not make it to Worlds even with a win today. But we'll get a little more into the details of that when Gangstars are actually playing, because right now, as mentioned, Team Secret and Snow Tsunami, like I said, not a whole lot really on the line as far as Worlds placements or things like that, but there is still the pride and, of course, the prize money that the teams are playing for.
Definitely, and I think Team Secret as well will want to go through to day 2 just to get a little bit more practice against people they'll face up against at Worlds. You're looking at Gangstars, you're looking at Mouse Sports, and you're looking at Snow Avalanche as well. Those are your 4 EU finalists, so to speak, and it's up to whether Mouse or Gangstars do go through and they get placed in that Worlds bracket. Team Secret will want to play as much as they can, and this is actually a rivalry as old as time as well. We've always seen Snow Tsunami playing into Secret, perhaps not this iteration of Snow Tsunami, but a very similar one nonetheless.
Well, also not even this iteration of Team Secret, as they are using the Joker. I'm not sure if it was touched on at the desk, but it's not like anything drastic happening within Team Secret. It's simply Palmatoro has been working a lot this past week, and so they've been actually doing a lot of their practices with the Joker because he's been available, and so that's why they're using him here this weekend. It's just because that's who they've been practicing with for the past week.
So now that we've talked a little bit about the teams, let's break down these compositions slightly. The Taka pick to me, we do see a lot of Taka, still was nerfed in update 123. How do you feel it works into Tsunami here?
Well, I mean, the Taka pick is something that is very good against squishier compositions historically, and so the fact that it's 3 generally fairly squishy heroes, I think, is going to give the Taka a bit of an edge, and well, it looks like the viewers are in agreement, as it is 79% of the viewer poll feel like Team Secret is going to win this one.
It's not incredibly surprising though, because if you look at the stats across this split of the Evil 8, Snow Tsunami are 2 and 4, only garnering 2 points overall, and Team Secret are 8 and 7, garnering 12 points for themselves. They've been getting through to that day 2 a lot more often. In fact, I don't think they've missed the day 2 thus far.
They have not.
And they're just, at the moment, a better team than Snow Tsunami, and the viewers obviously know that as well out there in the ether and in their bedrooms and houses and whatever across the world watching Vainglory. Mowgli is going to get caught out here. Bong Mabu will take first blood. Takes it down that lance. Able to Suri strike off towards the side, and Snow Tsunami maybe trying to prove the viewers wrong.
And lots of pressure being put on the lane thus far by Snow. Even a few minion candies have been purchased and used, but right now, Joker is coming in and finding some good damage onto BT Lamb. But BT Lamb able to get out of there. Sasiska going to be avoiding going down as well.
Yeah, now we've seen a lot more sort of, not a lot more, but we've seen Lyra continuing to be a strong support over the last, couple of updates or so. I thought perhaps with update 123 we'd start to see her fall out of the meta, maybe start to see a bit more Fortress, with Mortal Wounds coming out, reducing that healing, but it doesn't seem to be something at least that's been picked up amongst the European Evil 8 teams.
Yeah, it really hasn't even been too much in North America. There's been like 1 or 2 teams across both regions that have sort of started picking up the Fortress and things like that. G2 is one of the more prominent users of it, but the Lyra is still just that healing, and the amount of harass that she can put onto a lane opponent is just immense and still makes her a very valuable tool. And again, more minion candies. This is really surprising to me. That's an item we don't typically see very much of, but they really want to pressure Cavalifar.
Yeah, Snow Tsunami, I mean, PC Lamb picked it up as one of his first items, so Siska's got one now as well to push those minions in. The Joker and Mowgli are going to have to come across, and you talk about it pressuring Cavalifar. Do you feel part of it as well as bringing this Taka up out of the jungle, not allowing him to farm and counter jungle that much because he has to come up to protect his Samuel in the lane a little bit more?
Yeah, it pulls up both the Joker and Mowgli, really. And Lance Taka, that's such a strong early game jungle duo, but they're being kind of negated in that jungle presence.
Yeah, Mowgli's going to get caught out here. Bong Mabu looking for his second kill of the game, and Mowgli will fall for the second time this matchup. Cavalifar comes in a little bit late. We'll put the pain down onto PT Lamb. Here comes the Joker off towards the side, jumps onto Bong Mabu. Decima Bob comes down, but the Chitin is enough to take him out. Now PT Lamb and Sasiska on their last legs. It's a double for the Joker. He is melting through this team. He will not quite fall because he Chitins for the invulnerability. Sasiska almost had it with the empowered auto, but Team Secret able to turn it around and make it a 2-for-1 trade.
Joker's timings on those Chitins have been very impressive. Actually jumped over the death from above with the Chitin, avoiding all the damage and of course the stun that comes out from that ultimate. Great job from this Taka, able to find a couple of kills.
Yeah, the Joker showing why Taka is still strong, even after the nerfs in 123. His Kaku duration got nerfed ever so slightly, healing went down, the energy cost went up. Still working out just as effectively if you can get those early kills. And let's have a quick look at his build as well, because we've seen a lot of on-hit Takas recently with the Storm Crown, with Aftershock and Tension Bow. It looks like he's going a little bit more classical, maybe towards a Sorrow Blade here. He will jump onto PT Lamb, Fountain comes out, he's going to take some damage in response. Bong Mabu trying to do what he can. Cavalifar a little bit late to the fight, but how do you feel about Joker's build here, Bacon?
I'm actually a little bit surprised by it. There is a reason why the Tension Crown build has been so popular of late. It really helps to emphasize your jungle clear speed and then your objective taking in the late game, because one of the problems with the Taka is once you get to the late game, it does really start to fall off if you don't have a massive lead built up. So by going for the Storm Crown, it gives you something to do in the late game when it becomes all about those objectives. So I'm a little bit surprised. I'll hold full judgment on it until we do see the late game, because there is still a potential for a Storm Crown to come out when that late game situation does come up. But for now, it's just all about getting as much damage as possible and trying to jump onto these members of Snow.
Oh, definitely. And I think That's the safest thing to say as a caster as well. It's like, the reason I handed it over to you was because I wasn't quite sure about the build, and then you were just like, yeah, we'll wait to see how well it works late game. And if it works well, I'll say it was a good build. Joker trying to make it work in the early game as well. There's the Oblivion. PT Lamb will get caught out and will get taken down. They're going to turn their attention to Impale. Not connecting from Mowgli means they back away, but another kill going over to Team Secret very quickly in this game.
Yeah, and that sort of passive analysis is it's more for like when there's a build that you're like, well, this is a build that can work, but it just kind of depends on how it gets played. Like, it's not like I hate the build, but I just don't feel like it's as ideal as it could be, essentially. But if you play it right, if you just keep going aggressive, keep looking for kills early on, then it's absolutely one that will work for them.
And I think we know you, Bacon. If you hated the build, you would be saying how much you hated the build and saying exactly why it was wrong. Goldmine going over to Secret will continue to push them in the gold advantage here. They're in a very strong spot, even though actually with that Goldmine they only just about equalize the gold on the board. A lot of that sitting on towards Bong Mabu. He's got about 15 CS over his opponent in the jungle, the Joker, but the Joker has been able to get himself a couple of kills to even out the arrears.
And the one build that I really want to look at is actually the Sky build, going for that Frostburn first. This is actually a situation where I like the Frostburn first because you do have to worry about the engagements from Lance and Taka.
I totally agree with you. Being able to slow them down, attack is always a little bit difficult because he can just X-Retsu onto the back line, but if you can stop him dodging around with the Kaku, if you can manage to slow him up a little bit and help your team catch him out, it can be devastating for that Taka, and it will be up to how Joker plays this. Now we're going to see another fight. The Impale comes out, Mowgli misses that, Cavalifar comes in to the fray. Here's Joker as well, jumping in from the side. Death from above will lock out Team Secret, but a great Oblivion on the backline catches out PT Lamb. Bong Mabu uses the afterburners to get himself away. The Joker looking for the dive decides he doesn't quite want to go that deep yet, and Team Secret will just be happy with a single kill. Although Mowgli won't, he jumps in, there's the Joker as well. Bong Mabu gets taken out through the Imperial Sigil. The Joker will fall to the turret. Ends up being a 2-for-1 trade, but now Team Secret can try and put some damage on towards this turret as well.
Yeah, they able to find a couple of kills. They're not really going to get much damage onto the turret, as they don't really want to necessarily go diving that one with the Mowgli being pretty low, Joker obviously having gone down as well. So they just kind of back off, take the team fight victory, and just go do some purchasing. Cavalifar able to finish off that the Broken Myth, and they Eve of Harvest, Broken Myth. This is that 2-item power spike that we always like to talk about with a Samuel. He becomes infinitely more powerful now that he has both of these items. Very difficult to kill with the lifesteal on the Eve of Harvest, and of course that damage constantly ramping up throughout a fight due to the Broken Myth. So be very mindful of where this Samuel is positioned when further team fights break out.
Valifar always known for his superb positioning when needed as well. Let's just talk about Bong Mabu's build again. You already mentioned the Frostburn first, but he's gone double Piercing Shard here. Now, you don't tend to see double Piercing Shard at all. Most people just build up towards that Broken Myth. Do you think of a reason he might have done it in this game specifically?
To be completely honest, I really can't, but hold on, because there's a fight.
Thank goodness there's a fight. It interrupts the analysis. PT Lamb is caught out. Death from above will come out the wait for it as well. And I'm a little bit sorry, Bacon. I kind of left you in the lurch there because I have no idea why he's got double Piercing Shards.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about it either, because if there was a lot of shield being built, then it kind of makes sense. But there really isn't. There's only 2 shield items even on the fold right now, as that is going to be Team Secret diving under the turret and taking him down. Like, I would much rather see either, like you said, focus on getting that Broken Myth quickly, or get some defense for yourself on Bong Mabu here.
It has got the reflex block, but I totally agree. Maybe a little bit of shielding for himself. Samuel does a lot of chip damage that you can work your way against having a bit of shielding. Cavalifar will get caught up in the bright bulwark. PT Lamb is starting to do damage with this weapon power box, but forced away by Cavalifar, and it's an immense payout across the Team Secret once again. Cavalifar needs to get away from this. We'll be able to retreat behind his turret. Team Secret will now rotate up just to stop any more hurt coming onto their laner.
Yeah, PT Lamb going with this weapon box. The build is almost certainly going to end up being the Breaking Point double Tyrant's monocle. It's a very, very popular build on really any ranged weapon powered hero, and it works to great effect, especially on Vox. You can be relatively safe while still putting out a good amount of damage. And then once you get even the first Tyrant's Monocle completed, which he did just do, but especially when the second one comes out, you get up to that 80% crit rate. It is just a massive amount of damage. You can turn fights single-handedly with this Vox build.
Definitely, especially if you get a couple of crits, you can do a huge amount of work. Now, I feel this is where the Joker's build really needs to show its stuff. He's got Solar Blade, he's starting to build up to what appears to be a breaking point as well. And this is the point at which you'd be expecting a 5-on-1 Taka who'd gone the Stormcrown Tension Bow to melt through a squishy opponent. And there are a lot of squishy opponents on the side of Snow Tsunami, so if Joker can't do that with just this pure weapon power Taka, you have to feel perhaps his build isn't as suited to the game as he thinks. Mowgli's going to jump in, double root, here comes Joker, onto Bongmabu, the wait for it on Cavalifar will stop him in his tracks. Bongmabu repositioning off towards the side, there's the death from above, Oblivion will come down but not quite connect. Bongmabu jumps onto Cavalifar in the backline, and it looks like Snow Tsunami have the fight. Joker still getting the damage down with the Solar Blade though, he'll melt through that backline, he takes out Bongmabu as well, and Team Secret turn it on its head. The Joker absolutely superb in the fight, X-Rexude onto Sasiska, a double for him, and the ace for Team Secret.
The movements throughout that fight by Team Secret were absolutely spectacular, able to avoid the vast majority of Bongmabu's damage output on this Sky. That's one of the downsides of the Crystal Sky. When you hit, it does a ton of damage, but if those forward barrages get dodged, you are doing literally nothing. And that was exactly what ended up happening. Bongmabu just was not able to get the damage output that Snow needed in order to win that fight.
And that's just Secret synergy as well. It's something we've talked about time and time again, their ability to reposition in fights, their ability to know exactly where they need to be, because there were times there when it looked like Bongmabu had their number and was able to get onto that backline. Cavalifar almost died, but having that Eve first, the Samuel build that we started to see a lot more these days, just helps him out with the healing. Team Secret are looking for the engaged. War Treads in. They're going for PT Land. They don't really care about Sasiska. Githian Wall gets blocked, but the damage comes out from the Impale. Here's the 3-man Oblivion. It's only going to hit 2. Bongmabu keeps himself alive, but Sasiska just cannot survive as Team Secret once again take down 2.
Yeah, and this full damage on the Taka is starting to work wonders, actually going into 2 defensive items as well in order to survive, which really makes me believe this last item is going to be, or next item I should say, because there will still be an extra item slot, but will be a breaking point because Joker's been able to survive throughout these fights and able to get a good amount of damage down. No armor being built whatsoever on the side of Snow Tsunami, so, I mean, Joker's going to have really free reign once he jumps in.
He's absolutely melting through them already, and you have to wonder about that armor. You know, you can itemize against the Samuel, you can try and stop the poke damage coming down, but Team Secret really aren't about that at the moment. They're just going all in time after time, and it's the Joker that's doing the majority of the work. If we could see the damage stats, it would probably be about 60% Joker, 30% Cavalifar, and then crowd control coming out from Mowgli. The engage is going to come out from Snow Tsunami. Here's the Oblivion. Hits onto Bongmabu. PT Lamb still alive in this fight. The Joker's going to come in around the side looking for the engage onto Bongmabu. He goes to PT Lamb first, though, trying to take out that box. He will get melted by the forward barrage, and that is a dead Joker. Batman strikes once again as Snow Tsunami start to turn this game on its head. They're going to dive under the turret for Mowgli as well. It's a double for PT Lamb. Only Cavalifar left alive, and he will just back to the Sanctuary and let Snow Tsunami start to push down this turret.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake there from Secret. They were fighting, they got engaged on, very nicely done by Snow, while it was just 2 members of Secret. And when Joker rotated up, the other 2 members of Secret were already trying to leave the fight. So then Joker kind of engages and ends up on his own for quite a bit of time. Just like you said, got completely melted there. So I think that was definitely a bit of a mistake from Secret that Snow was able to capitalize on, getting themselves a couple of kills and taking down that first turret. Now, going back to the build of Bongmabu, though, I think I have a reason for why he had 2 piercing spears. Accidentally double bought.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking too, because he did sell off one of them now that the Broken Myth is completed. So you don't buy 2 piercing spears early like that unless you're planning on doing something with both or having both for the long haul. And so I really do feel like it may have just been an accidental double purchase.
Yeah, I have seen a Samuel build coming out of the Tesseract League, which was double Broken Myth, which was the only thing I was sort of standing by saying it might happen. But yeah, he's sold it up. He's gone Frostburn, Broken Myth, and now has that Void Battery as well, just to give himself a little bit of extra energy. So probably building up towards Eve next. In usual kind of build on towards the Sky. And if actually he can survive the early burst coming out from fights, Eve does wonders against Joker as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But now that Secret is all together, we'll see what happens.
PT Lab's going to get jumped on. Great getting Wall back into the Oblivion. It is blocked out. They're going to try and reposition with the Arcade Passage. Joker in towards the backline, but Bongmabu just says, hello, Cavalifar. I want to take you out. PT Lamb doing work in the fight as well. Bongmabu will take out Cavalifar. PT Lamb dead off towards the side. Mowgli takes a full forward barrage. The Joker trying to get on towards that Sky, but just can't do it. He jumps in onto Sisiska, but Bongmabu is absolutely huge on this Sky. He gets the ace, he gets the triple. Team wipes Team Secret, and now they're going to turn their attentions over to the Kraken.
Bongmabu's movement was so good, getting onto the back lines and just immediately burning down Cavalifar. You can look how much quicker Cavalifar was taken out than anyone else on Team Secret. There was so much focus on making sure that the Samuel went down, and we're starting to get to that point now that we're much later in the game. 18 minutes in, the Taka just doesn't have the damage, even without armor being built on the side of Snow Tsunami. Just the sheer health and base stats are kind of enough to start negating that single Sorrow Blade's worth of damage coming out of the Joker.
Exactly, and this is why you feel that perhaps that on-hit build would have been more effective. And you said it earlier, Stacey Bacon. We had to wait to see if this was going to be the case, but I think we both had the suspicions in our minds that this late-game weapon power build just wouldn't be enough to get through Snow Tsunami. And perhaps if they'd gone double weapon power, I know you don't play Samuel weapon power, but change their draft slightly more, go double weapon power and have like a double bone sword composition, the sort of weapon power we used to see in spring, it may have worked out. But in this sort of composition, in this sort of meta, it's not working for them. Snow Tsunami are going to go deep here. Kraken pushing in, Bongmabu trying to heal himself up, but the turret is focusing him. Cavalifar the first target, first blood, it's PT Lamb falling, and now Snow Tsunami went way too deep, way too quickly, and they lose everyone off a failed turret dive.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting the Oblivion to come out quite as early as it did from Cavalifar. It just destroyed their health bars, and like you said, all of a sudden, very quick turnaround. Kraken is going to go down, only taking one turret with her. It is not the best of trades for Snow Tsunami. As a result, we'll see what Team Secret can get off of this, as they are able to take that ace. But of course, with Kraken, there are no minions on the map, so they're not going to get any additional pushing as a result. They're looking to find jungle camps, but there isn't really much there for them until they get in here. They are going to steal away this minion mine, but a great fight for Secret. We'll see if they can continue to carry that momentum. I'm just keeping an eye on Joker. Does have enough gold now for that breaking point. I feel like that's going to be absolutely key for him in these fights. Now that he has this one, this weapon power build does start to do a little bit more effect. I would have actually liked to see the breaking point even earlier, maybe before the Atlas Pauldron came out, but it's now that he's got it and is just about full build, we'll have to see if they can continue to make this weapon Taka work.
How do you feel about PT Lamb's build? Because he didn't actually go double Tyrant's Monocle. He went Tyrant's Monocle into Bonesaw, and now appears to be wielding perhaps a Serpent's Mask as the backline of that as well. Team Secret actually going to go for a fight here. There's a fight for walk away. Quick comes out. Bongmabu stunned up. There's the Oblivion as well, but he gets out of it, and Cavalifar just melts away. They're going to turn their attentions over to Joker. Tries to Kaku out. Good Gideon Wall knocks up 2. The Joker's still doing work on Bongmabu, but he just can't do enough. As Team Secret fall by the wayside. Another triple kill for Bongmabu. He's picked up 6 of his team's 11 kills in 2 successive team fights. So actually, that wasn't Bongmabu. It was PT Lamb. Now I feel embarrassed. PT Lamb got a triple kill. It doesn't matter. They've 2 triple kills in 2 successive fights, and Snow Tsunami are looking to try and end this one pretty quickly.
I absolutely love this build for PT Lamb. I'm actually a little bit curious about it. It does work still. It's obviously still very effective. There's a lot of armor being built, so you needed that Bonesaw, but it looks like Snow Tsunami, they're just going to take this game.
Crystal will fall, and Team Secret just unable to hold it out. Massive early game lead for them that they just weren't able to convert into a late game win, and Snow Tsunami will be licking their wounds slightly, but very happy to be able to take that 1-0 over Team Secret.
I find it kind of interesting, like the last few team fights, it's just felt like whichever team decided to pull the trigger on starting the fight first was the team that took the win. Just that initial burst damage seemed to be enough to catch their opponents off guard and then get the fight. For Snow, it was those portals in with all of a sudden everyone jumping onto Gvalifar, and for Team Secret, it was when they were able to engage directly onto PT Lamb right away. They were able to win the fights, but unfortunately for Team Secret, those Tsunami were able to get that jump one more time than Secret was.
That they were. We're going to hand it back across towards the scrumptious Slytherins on the desk. Action Jackson, Fuji, and Humanist, take it away.
Slytherins?
Versus like Gryffindor.
Right, that's why I was wondering, is this a Harry Potter reference? Why are we Slytherin?
5 points to Slytherin.
He kind of looks like Harry Potter, so maybe that's why I made the joke.
He does.
Me or you?
No.
No,
Sona.
Sona. Yeah, okay.
He's like
Right,
a giant
right.
Harry Potter.
Yeah,
He is much bigger than Daniel Radcliffe.
but still a wizard at heart.
Yeah.
So that game was, I think it was just kind of a lack of discipline coming from Team Secret. Like, they had a solid lead, they were putting the right kind of pressure on, but then they got a little bit loose. They were picking fights where they were outnumbered. They were making maneuvers around the map that were just not quite as smart. We saw Taka having a pretty big impact throughout the early game, not really having an impact at all through the late game, getting caught up and actually killed, like, or getting a lot of damage from Sky. Like, Bomba Boo was just hitting a lot of skill shots on this Taka.
Yep.
And when you're doing that with the Sky, a lot of times people would argue, well, you could say, like, oh, well, the Sky is just really good. I'd say more often the Taka was just not avoiding damage like he should have
True.
been.
There was a Frostburn to slow him down a little bit.
When Secret was winning fights, though, it went much faster in their favor. It felt like they got just a little lackadaisical when they went with the Kraken on that last push there. It was all about, like, they had to keep Lance in front, Samuel pokes, and then Taka just waits for Sky to let herself be vulnerable. And his damage was respectable when he was on top of the Sky, but, the portals in and following portal onto that Samuel, it seemed to be the key to victory. They executed pretty well on it.
And so, obviously, one thing we've got to talk about here is, okay, Palmatoro can't play this week. Joker is playing. This is the first time. When was the last time we saw Team Secret play with anyone else in their lineup?
I cannot
Last
remember.
season, I think.
Did they play with a sub last season? One game?
Palma was out for a while.
Was he?
I thought
trolling
he was Palma was gone for a while, right? Like,
Not when I was at the desk.
yeah,
he's always
we'd
been
have to
around.
look back, whatever.
Maybe.
We'd have to refresh the memory. They've played with other players in there.
Never.
Not to say it never happened. No, there was a
First.
while where he had to focus on his school, right? So I think they were, at that time. But it was like not leading into the championships.
Right,
anything
okay.
like that.
I might be misremembering, but certainly, regardless of that, we do have to talk about the fact that Joker was playing, right? They said on Twitter they've been practicing up with him over the last week because Palmatoro has work.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we were talking about, or what you were talking about specifically, Fuji, about taking fights that were kind of mismatched number-wise, maybe some of this team chemistry is what's causing these problems where they think they can pick things, they can't, they're not backing each other up properly, perhaps.
I don't know, like, being completely transparent, if an Evil 8 team has a new person that comes in that's, like, never played with them in Evil 8 before, technically, that team shouldn't win. Like, when you're up against other teams that have been playing together and grinding and practicing,
Yep.
and they have their synergy, they have their mechanics down, like, that team should take the victory, like, 9 out of 10 times, other than there just being one big mistake or kind of one massive outplay that secures the victory for the other team.
I think, also, like, psychologically, having a Taka in your draft on your team, and he was blowing up the Sky the majority of the game, that can lead you to think that you can take fights that aren't in your favor always, and sometimes that can backfire, especially if you don't have that chemistry on top of it.
Sometimes having giant leads creates a sense of hubris, which is not good for the teams.
The
that
Art
are
of
in
the Throw
head.
is familiar with that concept, right?
Yes, very familiar. But, like, those last two Krakens, like, it was Snow push for the Kraken, get decimated. They tried to engage and just got blown up because they couldn't capitalize getting on the Samuel. And then Secret get the Kraken, they march down, then they just get decimated, aced in the reverse. Like, there's something about having the Kraken that just makes people feel like they're much stronger
I'm telling
than
you,
they are.
the Kraken has a passive debuff whenever you capture it. That just, like,
takes
lowers the intelligence level of everyone
Intelligence,
around
armor,
it.
and shield.
by like 10% at least.
It's not legit, but it feels like it.
It does feel like it.
All right, so moving into game 2, what would you guys like to see change both with respect to the draft and the play style of these two teams?
I don't necessarily think the drafts were bad on either side. I think the drafts were commendable. They had their strengths depending on how they were being played for both teams. It's more about the decision-making in the game. I'd like to see Team Secret, once they get a lead, make sure they keep the lead by making smart rotational decisions, making sure that they stick it together, and when they engage or knowing when to disengage was also another thing that they needed to definitely do. Because a lot of times Sky would just like pincer the Taka between a wall and forward barrage, and he just couldn't get away. So the engage just not being all there. I mean, that shot call can be made by Kvalifar, whether it's Joker or Palmatora playing.
That is a good point. We're ready for the draft of Game 2, so let's head right on into it. Team Secret up against Snow Tsunami, Game 2 of our first round of play this weekend. Team Secret's down a game, not a great position for them to be in.
My feeling is, if Team Secret are looking to just win this series, then getting Kvalifar on like a hyper carry that he's known for, having huge success, like if he could get his hands on a CP Sky, I think that's kind of the route they should go.
We haven't seen him play Sky too much at all. And it was one of the picks that he used to play all the time. One of the ones that got Team Secret to so many victories was just him making
And it was
insane
when they were
outplays.
having those dominant win streaks, right? I actually wonder if they've gone away for it to kind of lull people to sleep on that pick.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Like, Sky's definitely still reigns supreme in some cases. Not as strong as she used to be. But we do see Lance and Catherine coming through on side B. Very strong together. I actually think Catherine is a very overlooked roam right now in the meta, where people are still kind of used to like picking the Lance, they pick the Finn, you know, the Arden. Catherine still brings that whole other element of the team-wide silence that you have to have your roam constantly thinking about, ready to block with Crucible.
Right.
The on-demand stun in line with this Lance Impale is going to create quite a lot of pain, assuming they connect those stuns together. It's really important that they come together on those skill shots.
Or just stack them at the same time.
Well, Merciless Pursuit isn't really a skill shot, I suppose, but Impale, sometimes you just throw it wide.
It's just not the same. When your teammate's already getting lit up, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to try to stun one of these guys off him, but Arden, he can just Vanguard his ally.
That's true. It's a very mobile side with Vox and Arden together. Kestrel obviously bringing a lot of stationary damage from the backline.
So we're seeing the Lance and the Catherine with the Celeste. We were talking about Celeste earlier. We wanted to see more of it in Europe. And it's got one heck of a front line defending it. So I think Snow Tsunami is in good shape here.
This is a nice draft for them. If they can keep Celeste protected, I think they could definitely take this game. But, I mean, you're talking Kestrel, Vox on the other side. These guys know how to play these heroes.
I think if Tsunami lines their stuns up together and successfully executes the combos, they're going to destroy Secret with this comp.
Dang, shots fired.
So many stuns, so hard to get through Lance and Catherine to that Celeste.
All right, let's see if they can do it. Team Secret up against Snow Tsunami. Game 2. Snow one game away from making it to day 2 for one of the first times in a while. Let's hand it on over to Sona and Bacon.
Thank you very much, you aromatic analysts. I am Sona. I'm joined by Tasty Bacon, and this could be a cracker of a match. We're going to see Celeste being brought out here by Snow Tsunami and the Kestrel for Team Secret. Some strong picks going through draft.
Yeah, absolutely. Some very powerful pickups here. We're going to be having an early skirmish in the jungle, perhaps. Nope, just a little bit of damage trading and then a quick retreat. But keeping our eyes on the Vox Kestrel, I'm wondering if it's going to be a double weapon composition. I would prefer to see a double weapon composition with these two, but let's see what Kvalifar is going to do.
So why do you prefer double weapon here? Because it just looking at it from an outside sort of standpoint, or from my low play-by-play level, I'd say, you know, if you take a Crystal Power Vox, you get bounces off the Catherine, you get bounces off the Lance when he jumps in as well. Is there not a possibility of getting a lot of resonance bounces off in a very small space of time?
There is, but they're mostly only going to be hitting the Lance and the Catherine, and the real damage threat is going to be that Celeste. And you're really not going to be able to get as much damage onto Celeste, assuming Bongmabu's positioning is on point, which there's not really a whole lot of reason to believe it won't be, but we've got a bit of a fight at the jungle shop.
That we have is going to be Snow Tsunami making the engages, Joker trying to get some glimmers off. Here comes Kvalifar as well. Bongmabu's very low on energy here, doesn't need to be careful. PT Lam will knock him back and try and just run his way to safety. running away from Mowgli is not always the best idea. He will be able to escape, and all of Snow Tsunami get themselves away.
Yeah, definitely looks like Joker at least is going to be going for the weapon Kestrel, and well, a Crystal Bit for Kvalifar, so this will very likely actually now be the Crystal Vox. I feel like the Crystal Vox does struggle a little bit right now in the current meta, and against this composition, like there's just too many ways to shut down those resistance bounces. Plus, if you're not targeting the Catherine, like if you're hitting the Lance and getting those resonance bounces out that way, when Sasiska activates the Storm Shield, you're going to be actually eating a lot of damage off of those bounces.
Yeah, Stormguard can do a huge amount of work against you if you're not careful about who you're targeting, as you say. PT Lamb did get into the backs of Team Secret and stole away a couple of camps, and it looks to be just a normal core weapon Lance here. Now, there's a couple of different schools of thought as to weapon Lance builds. Sasiska will just get caught out a little bit here. Merciless Pursuit's onto Mowgli. With Bongwabu just around the corner, Team Secret shouldn't go for much more of a chase. But yeah, two different schools of thoughts when you look at Lance. You either go for the Tension Bow Stormcrown and go all on hit Lance, or you can go up towards the Sorrow Blade. Mowgli actually steals that Treant away pretty successfully with the Vanguard. What would be your sort of itemization of choice on Lance in this game?
My preference is actually going more towards the Sorrow Blade for a weapon Lance, just because you're all about that burst damage when you jump in with an Impale as they're about to hit onto Kvalifar.
Looking for the Impale. Kvalifar not going to be able to get away. PC Lamb just joke pokes him down, and First Blood once again going across it to Snow Tsunami here. Sasiska just dodging everything out. Beautifully well done by standing still. And PC Lamb will actually start up the triad. Probably going to realise that the Joker is just around the corner. Takes it with the Githyan Wall, so good bit of counter jungling by him there after picking up First Blood.
Yeah, and I want to actually look at Sasiska's build, going for a Stormguard banner as the first item. It will be delaying when that Fountain of Renewal will be able to come out, but it does help with just the early clear, which, I mean, Lance is one of the heroes that does not need any help with his early clear speed, but it kind of shows me that they're going to be looking to go aggressive, perhaps, as well. Sasiska might be caught out a bit here.
Now, speaking of aggressive, he literally just runs through Team Secret and they leave him. It's like, okay, yep, you can go into our jungle. We're not really going to do much about you here. We're going to see if we can force Bongwabu back a little bit, but Kvalifar takes a Helio to the face, but won't be too happy with the state of affairs in the lane at the moment. He's about 14 CS down to Bongwabu, even though they both haven't really been forced out of the lane too much. Kvalifar did have that one death, but shouldn't really account for such a large CS discrepancy.
Well, Sasiska gonna get found once again, as now the jungle has just respawned, so Sasiska wasn't really able to get anything out of this, and is now gonna be in trouble finally.
Yeah, it should get taken down here. You would assume Mowgli's coming in from the side as well. The Joker just needs to land a Glimmer or something, really, but Sasiska's still running his way away. Kvalifar has to go underneath the turret because PT Lamb and Bongwabu are looking for it. Sasiska off towards the side, might even escape here. Sasiska leads them on their merry way, runs back through the jungle and gets himself to safety.
Yeah, that was largely just because Team Super kind of let Sasiska escape, as they are just clearly putting the priority on the farm. The first time, they didn't chase him down because they knew they had just cleared out their own jungle. There wasn't going to be anything for Sasiska to take. The second time, Joker says, hey, my minions are here. I don't really care about the kill. I want this gold. And now Sasiska, I mean, Sasiska's just kind of been wandering around the map, not getting any experience or any gold for a fair bit of time. You look at the levels, level 4 for this Catherine, and that's by far the lowest level on the fold at the moment.
Pull out the one-shot, one-kill as well. He's still in the enemy jungle. Kvalifar just gone back to the lane now, and actually, oh, that was so close. Bongwabu just backing in time, getting to Sanctuary as Joker and Mowgli were looking for him in that bush.
I'm very confused by what Sasiska is hoping to accomplish here.
I think it's one of those, like, if you don't know what you're doing, how can the enemy know what you're going to do?
I guess. I mean, is going to use the Stormguard banner there to get a couple of minions taken away from the Team Secret jungle, but now is going to once again get collapsed upon.
Yeah, and he should go down this time. We'd assume Joker should be able to catch him out. He might actually just try and sacrifice himself to Mowgli so that Joker doesn't get the kill, but Mowgli should be able to give this one a Glimmer shot, doesn't hit it. Mowgli will be able to take him out eventually. We do see Kvalifar falling in lane as well, so Sasiska will eventually go down, but Kvalifar almost took out Bongwabu. The Joker is here, does have the ace in the hole as well. Sorry, the one shot, one kill. Will not quite take out PT Lamb. That's the second time in a week I've had that distinction made. They're very similar skill shots.
Not really, though.
No, they're not. Okay, I'm just bad. Let's go with that.
They really aren't. I mean, they look similar when it actually gets like thrown out, but that's about it. But again, Sasiska spent all that time kind of wandering around the Team Secret jungle. Didn't have any real vision to put down to try and now spot Team Secret a few minutes later. Wasn't getting any minions. Wasn't getting any experience. Like, that was just a lot of time kind of spent doing nothing.
Mind games, man. You don't understand the mind games. You wouldn't get it. This is EU. Go back to NA where you don't have mind games. Anyway, PT Lamb looking for Joker here. Does go in with the active camera, gets poured out. The Solar Storm will not even need to be used there by Bongmabu as he gets the kill. PT Lamb actually taking that one down. Going to keep going for the chase as well. Team Secret on the back foot. Cavalifar actually struggling a lot in this lane. Solar Storm comes out. Impale not quite connecting. The Vanguard will get Cavalifar back behind his turret, but that's already almost dead. And once again, Sasiska's just taking away the jungle of Team Secret.
Yeah, this time he's actually getting the jungle camps. This is what Sasiska has been trying to do for the majority of the 8 minutes that this game has been going, but has only really been successful here in the past couple. This turret is going to go down, though, as Cavalifar has just been really struggling in the lane. Look at the difference in CS. Bongmabu, 90 minions to the 59 of Cavalifar, and that is just not going to cut it.
But you compare the junglers as well. The Joker's sitting on 50 and PT Lamb's only sitting on 30 himself. So Sasiska does have 13. We can add those on to PT Lamb's score, but it's still a slight lead here for the Joker in that jungle role. And the question that springs to mind when you look at the teams in this sort of position is Kestrel Vox just better late game? PT Lamb's going to get caught out once again. Here come the Helios. Wait for it will come across. They do take out the Kestrel already. PT Lamb looking for the chase onto Cavalify. Impale back up now. Here's the Gauntlet. Catches out Sasiska off towards the side, but Bongmabu still doing work with those Helios. Does have the Solar Storm as well. Not quite going to use it yet. Mowgli, the new target for Bongmabu. There's another Helio. Solar Storm has to be the ultimate use then. Will take down the Ard, and the Impale as well. Almost an ace. Joker just respawns in time to prevent it, but Snow Tsunami on the warpath.
And they are absolutely being able to find the kills. The tension bow for PT Lamb on the Lance. Not typically a fan of tension bow lancing. He's already extremely strong in the early game. I understand there's the mindset of wanting to just increase that early game strength, but the problem is, yes, you do increase the early game strength, but you also end up drastically increasing the late game fall off of this weapon lance. So it does show me that Snow Tsunami are going to look to try and end this game sooner rather than later, as they try and get themselves a large enough lead to be able to do so. They are up by quite a bit of gold as well. So they've been doing what their goal has been, and just really shutting down Cavalifar in this lane. But late game Crystal Vox is still very strong. Not quite as powerful as the weapon in my opinion, but Kestrel does remain strong throughout the game, but I don't think that the Joker has actually hit one of these one-shot one-kills yet.
He hit one earlier on, but didn't do enough damage to get the kill. Joker's going to get knocked into the wall as well. Bongmabu low on energy. And you can see Snow Tsunami thinking they don't quite want to fight yet. So Sasiska gets stunned up with the active Camel. Impale not connecting either. And Joker will force them back for now. PC Lamb's quite low. As you say, I mean, Sasiska's got Storm Crown boots here and hasn't even got a fountain yet. We're almost 11 minutes into the game. Probably the slowest fountain I've ever seen out of a roaming competitive play.
I mean, they haven't needed it.
It's true, it's work. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it's different.
Yeah, it's very different, but it has absolutely been working for them. I think they recognize, with a Crystal Vox, you're not really going to be in too much threat of getting taken down for quite some time. Now that he does have the alternating current and is building towards the Broken Myth, Cavalifar can start, doing at least some threat, but you can see just that CS difference is continuing to grow now, 82 to 138.
It's absolutely huge disadvantage at the moment, and Cavalifar's just taking supernova after supernova as well. Solar Storm will come out, he's just dead. Cavalifar is just dead. He hasn't got shield, he's got a reflex block that he didn't use, and he's dead for the 5th time this game.
Yeah, they have just been abusing Cavalifar up in the lane, and I mean, I don't know, you gotta figure, you had to kind of see this coming. It's a very early game centric. When there's a carry lance, that a carry lance is just a sign that your opponents are going to try and win early and are going to try and pressure you out. And Team Secret just has not looked prepared for this.
They haven't at all, and at the moment, No Tsunami are starting to show perhaps some of their former glory as well. It's not something we've seen consistently out of them this Evil 8 split, but they're doing very well this game. They are being able to push Team Secret back, and we always talk about the old Team Secret and how we want to see, make Team Secret great again. But Team Secret, they've been consistent, if not their usual selves this split. They're still sitting in second spot in the league, and although they haven't been amazing, they haven't been the dominant force they once were. This is definitely underperforming for them this split.
Absolutely, and yes, with this game they do have the sub in, yes, but they have been practicing with the Joker. It's still not the Palmatori who they've been playing with for almost a full year. So there's going to be a little bit of synergy issues with that on premise, but this game has just not looked good for Secret whatsoever.
Solar Storm connects onto the Joker and takes half his health in just one shot. No Tsunami don't even care about chasing down for the kills anymore. They are looking for these objectives. They're looking for the standing gold, and they'll take down their second turret. Team Secret only have 1 kill to their name. No turrets for them yet either. Mowgli's looking for a gauntlet positioning here if he can get in, but there's Kavalapar going down once again. Mowgli gets knocked into the wall. Shouldn't be any escape for him here as Bong Mabu can go for the chase. Good gauntlet comes out, but the impale onto Joker in the back line. PT Lamb getting towards him back as well. They kill the Arden inside the gauntlet, meaning that stays up, and the Joker just escapes that final star falling from the sky.
Very narrowly avoiding the ace is the Joker. Joker does have the Sorrow Blade breaking point, but there's just no survivability on the Team Secret team for these stacking items to get their stacks. They're just being deleted almost instantaneous. Like, it feels like if an impale hits, they're just gonna fall. As that has definitely been the case with Kavalapar. 6 deaths now in this game. 14 minutes in, we're just a minute away from Kraken spawning, and Snow Tsunami, they have complete control.
And we're talking about a triple stun comp as well. There's already a Crucible built on Mowgli. Kavalapar and Joker have their own reflex block. But even if you Crucible the Merciless Pursuit, reflex block the Impale, then you have to worry about the core collapse coming down as well. And Snow Tsunami are timing their CC well. Joker's going to go down. The wait for it comes out from Kavalapar, but I don't really think he can take on Bong Mabood. The rest of Snow Tsunami around the corner. There's the Solar Storm. Kavalapar going to get chased out, blocks out some damage from the Helio, but can't keep himself alive. And it's just Mowgli left standing once again. Arden has nothing to say, nothing to do apart from go down, and it's an ace for Snow Tsunami.
An ace right before the Kraken spawn. Snow are going to be able to push in onto this turret and then immediately duck down and set up that Kraken. Storm Crown on Sasiska means they're going to capture Kraken very quickly. And we'll see if they do actually decide to start this one up. Here we go. Yep, Sasiska's going to kick it off while the team clears out the jungle. And there is just this.
In all honesty, Sasiska can solo this with Stormguard. The rest of the team are going to come and help, but he's got Storm Crown and Stormguard. And it's just he could just stand there and let the Kraken kill itself.
Pretty much. It's so strong where Snow Tsunami is at in this game. Like, they are currently at a stage where you would expect a team to be when you get closer to that 20-minute mark. And we're only 15 minutes in. They have just completely snowballed this game out of control.
And in all honesty, this is probably closest that will come to a perfect game this split as well. It's not common that you see perfect games against one of the top seeds of a region. Team Secret have not looked themselves this game, but Snow Tsunami have really stepped up. They've only lost 1 kill in the entirety of this thus far. Now, last time they had a Kraken push, they did throw the game ever so slightly in Team Secret's favor, trying to dive underneath turrets. They've only got the Vayne turrets left. Kavalapar gets hit with the Impale. So much damage coming down onto him. The Solar Storm doesn't connect though, so he won't quite fall yet. Mowgli's going to try and get back to Sanctuary. Impale once again from PT Lamb. Kavalapar starting to do some damage from the side. Joker's going to chase out Bong Mabu. There's the fountain. They're going to turn their attentions over to the Kestrel. There's the Githian wall. Joker keeping himself alive, but not quite for long enough as he will fall. The gauntlet out. The Kraken still pushing in. The first turret down. And Team Secret left with only 2 members standing, trying to clear out this Kraken, but CP Box is not going to do that much at all. The Kraken's still at half health. And they look for Bong Mabu, going to look for Sasiska as well, but Snow Tsunami should be taking down the Crystal and taking it 2-0 over Team Secret in our first best of 3 of the day.
Snow Tsunami, once they got the kill onto the Joker, they could have probably left the base and Kraken may have finished the game because again, Crystal Vox can't do anything to objectives, and Mowgli wasn't going to be taken down Kraken terribly quickly either. But what a game from Snow Tsunami. They really sent a message here that they do not want to be one of those teams fighting for the challenge battles. And Team Secret, I mean, like, is it something just, they looked good in game 1. Like, they looked perfectly fine, but game number 2, they just came out completely flat.
Really didn't play to their best potentials. Now, next game is definitely one to stay tuned for. It's Snow Avalanche versus Gangstar Cerberus. If Gangstar Cerberus get knocked out and Mousesports will win the week, Mousesports will go through to Worlds. Gangstar Cerberus, however, can win today and still not be our 3rd place for Worlds here in Europe. Mousesports might snatch it away from them in the final moments. We'll have to find out if that's the case in just a couple of minutes' time. But for now, we're going to hand it over to our delectable and delicious analysts over at the desk, in fact. AJ, Humanist, and Fuji, take it away.
Thank you very much, Sona. Always a pleasure to have you.
Sona's hungry.
Yeah,
I think he
maybe.
didn't. He skipped
It's not
a
the
meal
first
there.
time I've been called delicious.
Yes, because he said it earlier.
Oh, man.
So,
What did I say? What did I say about this? What was going to happen to Team Secret? Do you remember?
No.
I said they were going to get crushed.
Did you?
oh, right. I don't pay
Yeah.
attention to you.
Just due to this comp, though, right? Like, I mean,
like, Vox CP into, like, the Lance and the Catherine. Like, yes, they're both melee, but they both take, like, hardly any damage during multiple points of the team fight, and your Crystal Power is just not going to scale up very high.
True.
It's so much crowd control coming from Snow. Like, these guys have impales. They have, and not just, like, just an impale itself. Like, PT Lamb was landing incredible impales all games long. Like, he was doing it, like, over the wall without even clearing the wall with his hero. He was just getting just the tip on the other side of the wall.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Sometimes that's all you need. It's really impressive to see them execute it. For anyone who hasn't gone up against a comp like this, it's very, very difficult to actually execute when you cannot have someone go behind the Lance and the Catherine to get the Celeste, or a team that can successfully kite backwards, which we saw them just never really attempting to do that much. They kind of kept trying to dance